I would like to thank the pastoral team, the church ministry team of this church for giving me the opportunity to worship God with you today in this 57th year of your anniversary. CCAC has been my inspiration. When I was with Dr. Tano at the National Office of Kamakop, serving together with Dr. Riniel Nebab, we saw the financial records, and I was so challenged that Capital City Alliance Church has been very generous, especially towards missions. And I said to myself, if God would allow me to lead a congregation, I would make it the priority of the church and my priority to be involved and participate in missions. Because missions is the calling of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. So I wanted to follow your example, and presently, Zamboanga City Alliance Evangelical Church is your partner in missions. I have been telling my colleagues and my fellow workers that if only 10% of the 3,000 churches of Kamakop would be like CCAC, our missions program will always be okay. So to God be the glory. There was a survey conducted not too long ago. This survey is worldwide, and the result of the survey is that 75% of the respondents believe that the Bible is the best-selling book of all time. No other book has been printed, bought, distributed, translated throughout the world for the past 2,000 years except the Bible. All other books written 100 years ago are out of print today. You don't see them anymore. When the Red Book of Mao Zedong was published in the 50s, millions bought it. Millions died for it. In China, in North Korea, in Cambodia, when Pol Pot and Champagne led the Khmer in taking over Cambodia, they killed millions because of that Red Book written by Mao Zedong. But today, the Red Book is no longer in circulation, because when Mao Zedong was succeeded by Deng Xiaoping, Deng Xiaoping did not follow the Red Book. He had his own book. In fact, today, China is the biggest capitalist country in the world, although they claim to be communist. There are still very few today, like Jose Maria Sison, who still believe that the Red Book is the solution to all the problems in the world. But that's obsolete already. Not many people would want to read that. But the Bible, have you seen the latest version, the Pinoy version of the Bible? My friend told me that when it came out, it sold like hotcakes. Although some people did not like the idea of mixing Filipino with English, but that version has been sold by the thousands. I saw one this morning or last night, and the Bible has never been substituted nor replaced. Not any book in the world can substitute or replace the Bible. Because if you want to replace or substitute the Bible, you have to start with Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. You have to replace that. It says in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. If you want to substitute that, if you are a scientist, you will say this. In the beginning, there was absolutely nothing. If you are a scientist, and since in the beginning there was absolutely nothing, nothing follows in verse 2. Richard Dawkins, a self-proclaimed atheist, was in a university campus, and he was trying to explain the origin of life. But in order to explain the origin of life, you have to start with nothing. Because if you start with something, you have a very big scientific problem. How can nothing create itself to something? And as he was explaining, the university students laughed. And he was quite irritated, and he said, "Why are you laughing?" And the students answered, "Sir, you are trying to explain nothing." Why would you be interested in a book that describes or explains nothing? There was a group of Ateneo high school students who came to our church in Canilar, and they were asking a lot of questions. And one of the students, quite intelligent student, said, "Pastor, I don't believe in creation." I said, "Okay, if you don't believe in creation, what do you believe?" He said, "I believe in the Big Bang theory." I said, "Okay, if that's your starting point, then you must tell me who caused the Big Bang." And he said, "No, Pastor, what caused the Big Bang?" I said, "Who caused the Big Bang?" Because something cannot create itself. It has to be an intelligent mind that can create something. Are you familiar with the Giant Hadron Collider? It is the most expensive scientific experiment ever conducted in the history of the human race. It is a 70-mile tunnel underground, and it costs billions of dollars. Brilliant scientists, engineers, technicians gathered themselves together to create a vacuum 70 miles in circumference. What's the purpose? To create a single speck of dust from a vacuum, bombarding it with protons. Because they have the technology to split the atom, removing the electron and the neutrons. What remains is the proton, and they have these very powerful machines that would fire protons from two different directions at a precise time with a precise amount of energy, precise speed that they would collide and that they would create mass. 6 years ago, they have done that. Until now, they have not yet produced a single speck of dust. Ang daming alikabok dito sa mundo. Just to create one single speck of dust, you have to pay billions of dollars. And I really wish they would be successful. You know why I want them to be successful? Because it proves that to create a single speck of dust is not an accident. It's a product of a brilliant mind, hundreds of brilliant minds. And it is not an accident because the vacuum that they created was so precise, so accurate. The power that they needed was so precise and accurate. No accident would allow it to produce a single speck of dust. And therefore, Genesis 1:1 has never been substituted, has never been replaced, because the God who created the heavens and the earth can never be equaled, and nothing in this world can surpass His greatness, as was read a while ago in Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 to 20. He is above all things. He is before all things. Everything that was created was created by Him and for Him, invisible, visible in heaven, on earth, and under the earth, without exemption. And therefore, because God is above all, God is over all, there is no place for fear in our hearts. There is no place. Yes, as human beings, we have fears. And if we talk about fears today, we will not finish until tomorrow. But let me just mention few of those fears that I believe must be removed by the presence of the Almighty God and Jesus Christ, who is over all and before all things. I believe because Jesus is above all things and He is before all things, our fear of invisible forces but are harmful should be removed from our hearts. Filipinos are so scared with invisible forces but are harmful. Hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa maintindihan bakit millions of Filipinos would crowd themselves into cemeteries during November 1. Hindi ko talaga maintindihan yan. There are 365 days in a year. If you really love your loved ones, you want to show your care to them, although they cannot hear you, they cannot see you anymore. Why don't you do it 1 week before November 1? Huwag kayong magsiksikan doon sa sementeryo. Or 1 day after. Yung wala na mga tao pero marami pang pagkain na tira. Why don't you do that? The reason for that is 2,000 years ago, the Celts had this idea. I don't know who introduced the idea that once a year, on November 1, spirits are released and they will roam all over the world. And because you do not want them to visit you, you visit them. Yun lang naman yun eh. Takot tayo na magbisita sila. And according to this belief that spirits are released for 24 hours. And you have to appease them. You have to offer something to them so that they will not do harm to you. And we put a lot of things in our houses so that evil spirits would not come in. For example, when you construct your house, where do you face the door? Para swerte, hindi malas. Are you familiar with SM General Santos City? Matagal natapos yon. Kasi nag-argue yung architect at yung may-ari. The original design of the architect was the main door was to be facing west. But the owner did not like it because Collado Funeral Center or house was right in front of the main door. So they moved it to the south. So if you go to SM General Santos, the main door is from the south, not from the west. Kasi baka naman mamaya yung mga kaluluwa pupunta at mag-shopping. Mahirap na. Huwag mong iharap sa semeteryo ang ladder or the stairs. How many steps para swerte? Oro, plata, mata. Napapungsoy ba yan? I went to a church na merong door dito, merong door dyan. Bawal yan. Yung blessing, hindi magstay. Lulusot-lusot lang. And then we put a lot of things sa windows. May nakabitin dyan. Why? Because we do not want evil spirits to come in. My only problem is kung nandyan na siya sa loob. Hindi na siya makalabas. We have a lot of fears. Bata, ilang buwan, meron ng pulseras, beads. Why? Alliance people do that. And I ask, bakit merong bracelet yung bata? Pastor, panangga. May maitim na hangin. Meron ako napuntahan na bahay sa mesa, merong Buddha, may Santo Niño, may tiger, may ahas. So sabi ko sa may-ari ng bahay, Brad, bakit ganyan? Pastor, mabuti na yung nakasigurado. Yung hindi kaya nung isa, baka kaya nung isa. Hindi makalusot. We have fears because we do not see them and they may cause harm to us. Well, Jesus created everything, both visible and invisible. We don't need to appease the spirits. We don't have to befriend them and offer things to them. All we need to do is exercise our authority in the Lord Jesus Christ and reject them. Reject them. Do not invite them. Fathers, I beg you, do not invite spirits into your house. Because even when you are long dead, the spirit will still be there, and they will torment your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. We think that when we invite them, we offer things to them, they would make no harm. They will trouble you, your children, your grandchildren. We were in Pagadian City for 2 years, and one Friday afternoon, may knock-knock, Pastor, please come to Pagadian City Medical Center. Sabi ko, sino ang may sakit? Member natin? Hindi, Pastor. Pag hindi natin member, wala tayong pakialam dyan. Baka pagalitan pa tayo sa kanilang mga leader. Pastor, maawa po kayo. Sabi ko, sige, bukas, Sabado, puntahan ko. Ano bang problema? 48 hours na, Pastor. Kahit anong injection ng mga doktor, hindi magkalma, talagang matapang. Sabi ko, lalo nang hindi ako pupunta doon. It's a 15-year-old girl. Maganda sana, pero matapang. Malakas. And they had to tie her to the bed. So Saturday we went, Pastor William, you are from Pagadian City. We went to the hospital because the person who invited us begged, Pastor, tanawa lang ba? Tanawon raman di eh. Sige. So we went and I saw the girl tied to the bed. Her eyes, grabe talaga. 48 hours na. Kahit anong injection ng doktor, hindi nagkalma. Hindi makatulog. And so I told the father, I said, I'm here just to look at your daughter. Kasi yung cousin asked me to come and look at her. So tingnan ko lang. Sabi niya, Pastor, please pray for our daughter. Sabi ko, sandali lang. Hindi muna ako mag-pray. Gusto ko lang masigurado kung we are on the same page. And sabi ko sa kanya, since you are not alliance, I cannot pray for you. But gusto ko lang malaman kung meron ba sa inyo na may mga anting-anting, may mga bukol-bukol sa bewang, mga garapa, mga librita, mga panyo na walang laba. And there was silence. Silence. Nagtinginan silang lahat. And the father said, kaming lahat, Pastor. silang lahat. Sabi ko, Brad, I'll go home. I cannot pray for your daughter because you as the father, you as the mother, you as the older brothers and sisters, because the girl was the youngest. You invited spirits into your home. That's the reason why your youngest daughter is being troubled. I'll go home. And the father said, Pastor, what shall we do so that you will not go home, that you will pray for our daughter? I said, surrender to the authority of the Lord Jesus Christ. And when I said that, the father said, mga anak, sabi ni Pastor, surrender daw tayo. Luhod silang lahat. Hindi man mga alliance, kaya nagluhod. Bihira lang kasi ang mga alliance na magluhod. So, luhod lahat. Luhod. Kuha doon sa mga bewang, mga garapa, librita, mga roots of the trees, isang balutan. And I said to the father, what shall I do with this? And he said, Pastor, if that belongs to darkness, burn them. When the words came out of his lips, I went to the daughter and said, in the name of Jesus, you false spirit, leave her by the authority of Jesus. In 15 minutes, nakatulog. 48 hours, kahit anong injection ng mga doktor, hindi nakatulog. But in 15 minutes, she was sound asleep. So we went home, burned those things, but out of our excitement, we forgot to ask their names. At hindi namin alam kung saan sila nakatira. So we went back sa hapon, malis na. Saan namin hahanapin ito? Sayang, follow-up sana, no? The next day was Sunday, and Pastor William is familiar with Pagadian City. Meron silang 5 o'clock service at dawn. I was already preaching when 15 people marched. Dito talaga nakaupo sa front. Ang tatay, ang nanay, ang mga kapatid, and the youngest daughter, magaling na. Yung mga alliance people, sabi nila, sino ba yung nakaupo sa front? Kasi mga alliance, bihira lang mag-upo sa front. Kaya nagulat sila na, dito talaga. Tapos, bago yung mga mukha. When I finished preaching, the father, nakabarong Tagalog, Pastor, I would like to testify. Kinabahan talaga ako. First time na pumasok ng Alliance Church mag-testify. Maraming mga Alliance Churches, 30 years na. Umakyat man siya, kinuha yung microphone. And this is what he said. We thought that for many years we were holding on to something that can give benefit to us. It is from darkness. We will reject that in the name of Jesus. Because Jesus is above all things. He is before all things. No fear of invisible forces that may be harmful because they are under the authority of the Lord Jesus Christ. Because Jesus is above all things. There's no fear of economic scarcity. Kung meron pang bagay na talagang takot ang mga tao, yung kawalan. Baka maubusan tayo. The moment prices of petroleum products go up, people panic. When rice in Zamboanga City became 80 pesos per kilo, people panicked. Economic scarcity is something we do not like to happen. That's why people hoard. People even get something that do not belong to them because of the fear of economic scarcity. But since Christ is the owner, the creator of everything, God's children should have no fear of economic scarcity. No poverty for God's children. But sometimes, this fear expresses itself in many different ways. When I started with my ministry at Zamboanga City Alliance Evangelical Church, the percentage to Kamakop per year could not even reach 100,000 pesos. The missionary offering could not even reach that much also. But we had a dream of putting up a 50 million peso facility. And so the people said, Pastor, why don't we have fundraising? Or why don't we ask Kamakop na huwag muna tayong magbigay ng porsyento? I said, no. Our God is a good, generous, and rich God. We should increase our missions giving by 100,000 pesos per year. Because I believe that if we give to missions, because that is our calling, God will take care of our general fund. So every year, we increase the missions giving by 100,000. Last year, our goal was 1.5 million pesos, and we overshot that goal, and God granted to us the general fund of 15 million pesos. Even during the war in 2013, the church did not stop in giving towards missions. Because I believe that the more we honor Him, He owns everything. And because He owns everything, please do not attribute to Satan the ownership of this world. Satan has nothing to do with the creation of this world. He is only an illegal settler here. God is the owner of this world. All the world, wealth and riches belong to God. Because of that, we should have no fear of economic scarcity. Because Jesus is above all things. He is before all things. Fear of adversity should also be removed from our hearts. Why do we close our doors? Because we do not want evil people to come in and destroy us. Why do we hire security guards? Why do we install CCTV cameras? Because we do not want adversity. Ayaw natin na merong tao na magplano ng masama sa atin. We must have forgotten that someone beside us is greater than anyone. He is more powerful than anyone. And anyone who has planned against you will fall into the pit himself. I was in one church up in the mountain of Zamboanga del Norte, and a lay pastor came to me and said, Pastor, I'm not original in this place. I come from Olotanga, but I've been here for the past 25 years, and we have no land here. All I did in order to support my family and continue with my ministry in a small church was to borrow a piece of property from someone, plant it, and give him the share of the crop. For the past 25 years, he said, that's what I did. And then one day, I approached this man who owns this land and asked him if I could use the land to plant ginger, and I'll just share him with the crops. And the owner of the land said yes. Kaya nag-umpisa na siyang mag-clearing. Ang problema, merong dumating na isang tao, meron ding bolo, galit. Sabi niya, why are you clearing the place? And the lay pastor said, I asked permission from the owner, and he said yes. Hindi mo ba alam na interesado din ako dyan? Pero ba't siya magagalit? Hindi naman siya ang may-ari ng lupa. Ganyan, may mga tao talagang ganyan. Ano? And he really was mad. Nung nakita niyang meron ding bolo yung lay pastor, mahirap naman mag-fencing sila. So umalis na siya. 1 week later, the lay pastor felt something on his chest and on his stomach. Makati na masakit and nagiging itim yung kanyang dibdib at kanyang tiyan. And the lay pastor said, Lord, wala naman akong kasalanan na gawa sa mga tao. Bakit meron ako nito? And his prayer was so simple. Lord, kung meron mang tao na nagpadala nito sa akin, maaari bang ibalik nyo na lang sa kanya? Yan lang, ganun lang kasimple yung prayer. Few days later, nawala yung sakit, kati at saka yung itim-itim. So he went back to work. Dumating na naman yung tao. Galit. Sabi niya, ikaw, may ginawa ka sa akin. Sabi ng lay pastor, wala naman akong ginawa sa iyo. Binuksan niya yung kanyang dibdib. Sabi niya, nakita mo ba ito? Pinadala ko ito sa iyo. Bakit mo binalik sa akin? Umamin din pala. Few days later, the person died. And so, na well-known yung lay pastor doon sa bundok na siya ang banggiitang mangkukulam. Dahil namatay yung... And he said, Lord, I just prayed na kung sino man yung nagpadala sa akin, return to sender. If someone is planning something against you, return to sender. No fear of adversity. Because Jesus is above all things. And is before all things. No fear of rejection. If there's anything that we do not want is to be rejected. Ayaw na ayaw talaga natin. Kaya yung mga babae, ilang oras sa salamin, mamintura, para hindi ma-reject. Pasalamat kami mga lalaki dahil yung mga, I just learned recently na hindi pala interesado yung mga misis sa itsura ng kanilang husband. Hindi sila disturbed dyan. Yung nawawala ng mga buhok, wala. Yung lumalaki na yung mga tiyan, they're not disturbed. But men, kaya yung mga babae, very conscious. Kailangan maplansang mabuti. Halos hindi na kumakain para hindi ma-reject. Fear of rejection. Now, even churches, they have fear of rejection. In Zamboanga City, there was one time, pastors gathered, and I overheard them talking, anong gagawin natin? Umaalis yung mga members natin, pumupunta doon. I will not mention the name of the church. Sabi ko, bakit man? Anong nag-uol man mo nga muhawa ang inyong mga membro? Ba't kayo worried na nag-transfer yung mga member doon sa kabila? Pero hindi man kayo worried na ang member sa kabila nag-transfer sa inyo. Yun ang hindi ko maintindihan talaga. Sa totoo lang. So, pag mag-transfer doon, worried tayo. Pero kung mag-transfer dito, hallelujah! Matagal na kaming nag-pray. But there is that fear. Na kailangan gumawa tayo. We have to do something to attract people or to hold them so that they will not go away. Brothers and sisters, Jesus will attract people to Himself. We do not attract people to us. If Jesus is here, people will come to meet Him. Believe me. The presence of God will attract believers in Jesus. Kasi kuminsan, we have to do something, hindi na tayo makatulog, magplano, anong gimmick gagawin natin para hindi aalis yung mga tao. If Jesus is with you, there is no fear of rejection. Because you are part of the body. He is the head of the church. He has adopted you and me, and there can be no rejection to those who are in Christ Jesus. I was told that I should not preach beyond 1 hour, so I have to end with a story. There was a pastor who graduated from Mount Apo Alliance Bible College, and he went to Parang, Maguindanao. Are you familiar with the place? Parang, hindi Maguindanao. And he served there for 25 years in that church, in the midst of Maguindanaos, Iranons, and Maranaos. He is the only alliance pastor who can go to villages, Muslims, because through the 25 years, he had this reputation that although he is a pure-blooded Ilonggo, he loved the Muslims. One time, 35 MILF rebels wanted to surrender, but they would not come down from the mountain unless Pastor Bong Liboon would go up and bring them down. Because at that time, his uncle was the commanding general in Awang, Cotabato City. So he went up in the middle of the night, guided the 35 MILF down. And the Muslims in that area heard about it. He would help the Muslims. One day, while he was in his parsonage, a group of Maranaos arrived. He was surprised. Ano bang kasalanan na nagawa ko? Bakit? Ang daming Maranao. But then the leader of the group introduced himself and said, I'm looking for Pastor Bong Liboon. I am Sultan Omar of Malabang. So Pastor said, oh, good. This is Sultan Omar. Come in. Pastor, I'm here because I heard that you are helping a lot of Muslims. Maguindanao, Iranons, Maranao. We want to invite you to a celebration. So, sabi ni Pastor, pag hindi ako sasama, I would offend them. Kung sasama ako, baka hindi na ako makauwi. So he went. And it was a great celebration. More than 1,000 people were there. And in the middle of the celebration, Sultan Omar stood up. In front of his many children, ang daming anak ni Sultan Omar. Huwag na natin pag-usapan ang asawa. Anak lang. Basta maraming anak. And the people. And he said, you might be surprised why I invited Pastor Bong. He is a Christian pastor. Now, remember this, Muslims would appreciate if you tell them you are a pastor. Sultan Omar said, he is a Christian pastor, but I invited him here because I want you all to know, especially my children, I want you all to know that I am adopting him as my son. Everybody was shocked, including Pastor Liboon. A pure-blooded Ilonggo to be adopted by a pure-blooded Maranao, a royal blood at that. And he said, to show my sincerity that I'm adopting him, I'm giving him 3 land titles. It shocked everyone. Pastor Bong Libon could not believe. Pero binigyan siya, talaga. 3 land titles. Alam niyo ba kung ilang hectares ang isang title? 300 hectares. Lalo siyang natakot. Sabi niya, if I will accept, perhaps the sons, the daughters would get angry. But if I will not accept, it would offend the Sultan. So he accepted it. And their relationship became close. The Sultan would go to the church, and he would go to Malabang for several years. And one day, the Sultan got sick, and he died. Pinadalhan si Pastor Bong ng notice ng mga anak. Pastor Bong, namatay si Ama. Come. We will bury him within 24 hours. So nunod si Pastor Bong. Bago inilibing yung matanda, tumindig siya. Sabi niya, sandali lang, sandali lang. Meron akong declaration to make. I am happy that this old man, before he died, adopted me as his son. And he gave me these land titles. But these do not belong to me. Pinuntahan niya yung eldest son, ang laking tao. Binigay yung title. Umiyak yung anak ni Sultan. Niyakap siya. Hindi pala interesado itong Ilonggo na ito sa lupa namin. Binalik niya yung land titles. From that time on, he was loved and respected by the Maranaos of Malabang. May nakarinig man, itong chismis madaling magkalat ba? O, narinig ng ibang mga tao na tinanggihan niya yung lupa ng mga Maranao. The Sarmientos of Landasan, they have hundreds of hectares of land in Landasan. And nakarinig sila, yung ginawa ni Pastor Bong, hindi pala interesado si Pastor Bong sa lupa. Pastor Bong, come. Meron kaming hundreds of hectares na walang tanim. We will give you 50 hectares. Plant anything. You put your house there. You know, for 25 years, hindi siya nakabili ng isang, yuta daw sa kaang, wala yun. He has not made a house. But this time the Sarmiento said, you may build your house. We'll give you 50 hectares. You plant anything. So he planted palm oil. That was 6 years ago. And then it started bearing fruit. When it started bearing fruit, 21 Magindanaos came with guns. Pastor Bong, kunin na namin yung lupa ng aming mga lolo. Sabi ni Pastor Bong, hindi man akin to, sa mga Sarmiento. According to this title, it belongs to the Sarmientos. Oo, pero hindi man kami nakapirma. Hindi daw sila nakapirma, kunin nila. O, sabi ni Pastor Bong, sige, kausapin ko muna ang mga Sarmiento, and I'll call you back. Umuwi yung 21, galit na galit. The next day, 50 heavily armed Maranaos, led by the sons of Sultan Umar, arrived in Landasan. They looked for the 21 people. They cornered them. Sinabi sa kanila, kayo ba yung nangharas kay Pastor Bong? Ganyan doon, palakasan ng armas, paramihan ng tao. Pag konti yung tao mo, manginig ka talaga. Why did you harass him? Don't you know that he is our brother? He was adopted by our father before he died. Although walang kasulatan yan, the word of the Sultan is very powerful. If you touch him, his wife, his children, you will answer to us. The following day, the 21 people came to Pastor Bong. Wala ng armas. Pastor Bong, sorry. Mga kapatid mo pala yun. Anywhere Pastor Bong would go, he is under the protection of the Omar family because he was adopted by the Sultan before he died. Brothers and sisters, you are adopted by the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Nothing in this world can touch you. Fear of invisible forces should be gone. Fear of economic scarcity should be done. Fear of adversity should be gone. And fear of rejection should be gone because Jesus is over all and before all things. To God be the glory.